Shalom and welcome to this week's Hebrew class. And as we can see, we are doing chapter 2 revision. And it is from Yehuchanan John. And therefore we're dealing with verses 1 to 25. So let us begin. And of course we begin with just reminding you of the Nakud vowel markings, where we have a chart, and also the useful resources. So let us begin. First, we begin with an aleph, which we know is a value of 1 because every number has a numerical value. So let us read. Uvayom, and in the day. Ha shalishi, the third. Haita, it was. Tuna, a wedding. Be-kana, in Kana. Ashir, that. And the translation, in the day the third. It was a wedding in Kana. That. Ba-Galil, in the Galil, or in Galilee. Ve-sham, and there. The mother. The mother, and then Yahushua, meaning of Yahushua. So we translate that. And we get in Galilee, and there the mother of Yahushua. And then we have Vayet, which we should know has a value of 2. But Yahushua and Yeshua, the Talmidayev and his disciples, Gam also hem them, hayu, they were, men from Ha-Karuim, from the invited. And we know that the root of that is Kara, so we could even say from the cold. And Yahushua and his disciples, also them, they were from the invited, or the cold. El, meaning 2, ha-cha-tu-na. And when the L is joined, it usually means to the wedding. To the wedding. And then we have a gimel, value of 3. He, and it was. Ka'asher, like that, or like when. Kala, it finished. Hayin, the wine. Vatomer, and she said, because the tav tells us it's feminine, the mother, Yahushua, of Yahushua. And it was like when it had finished the wine, and she said, the mother of Yahushua, Elev, unto him, and not lahem, for them, yayin, meaning wine. Unto him, not for them, wine. And now we come to verse 4, represented with Dalet. Va-yo-mer. And he said, Eleha, unto her. And the hey tells us it's feminine, so it's her. Yahushua, that's who. Ma, which is usually what, but we can read as what is it? Li, to me. Because otherwise it'd just be what to me. But what is it to me? Va-lak, and to you. Isha, woman. And he said unto her, Yahushua, what is it to me and to you, woman? Iti, my time. That's the yod tel masmai. Adayin, yet, lo, not, va-a, to come. My time, yet not to come. Then we have a hey, which has a value of 5, va-tomer, and she said, Imo, his mother, L2, ham, sharatim, the servants, kol, all, asher, that. And she said, his mother to the servants, all that. Yomar, he shall say, Lakem, to you, ta'a, so you shall do it. He shall say to you, you shall do it. And then we have a vav. So we know that has a value of 6. Va, sham. And there, she, sha, 6. Ka, de, which means literally vessels, but it can be like pitchers, is how they translate it. Even of stone. Arukim, prepared or arranged. Kemishpat, like the judgment, or like the ordinance. And we could add of just to make it flow. And there were 6 pitchers of stone arranged like the ordinance of HaYehudim, the Jews. Letaharatam, for their cleansing or purification. Shetayim, 2, or shalosh, 3, batim, which is a measurement, found in the Old Testament, but we find it in the New Testament called firkins, which is a value of 41 litres. The Yehudim, for their cleansing or purification, 2 or 3 firkins, which are 41 litres each. Yakil, to contain, kol echad, and we could say every one. To contain every one. And now we come to Zion, which has a value of 7. Vayomer, and he said, Alehem, unto them, Yeshua, Malu, because he's speaking at second person, so it becomes you fill. Ha-kadim, meaning the vessels or the pitchers. Mayim, and then we could say with water, even though there's no with there. And he said unto them, Yeshua, you fill the pitchers with water. They mal Now there's 2 pronouns here, the u and the mem suffix. So it's they filled, and then the mem is them. Ad can be unto, le mala, meaning to the top, or as far as the top. And they filled them as far as to the top. And then we have a chet, which has a value of 8. And we read it. Vayomer, and he said, Sha'avuna, you draw, so we could add out, you draw out, na, now, and that could also be please. The haviu, and you bring it, or you bring, so it is just added, L2 Rav. Now Rav can mean the rabbi as well, or the master, the great one, because Rav means sort of great, so it can mean to the great one, which is usually the term used for a rabbi. And he said, you draw out now, and you bring it to the master or the rabbi. And then it is ha-me-si-ba, meaning of the banquet. Va-ya-vi-u, and they brought it, because now it's third person, of the banquet, and they brought it. And then we have a tet. which has a value of 9, and it is vayitam, and it means and he tasted. And then we have Rosh, meaning the head of, we could add, ha-me-siba, of the banquet. Et grammar marker, ha-mayim, the water, a-shir, that. Nehef-ku, which means it had turned. Le-ya-yin, to wine. Ve-lo, and not. Yada, meaning he knew. Me-ayin, from where. Who, which can mean it was, or it is. Though who can mean he, but in this case it means the wine, so it means it. It is, or it was, the hamsharatim, and the servants. Often that and can be translated often as but the servants. So going back to this one, and he tasted the head of the banquet, grammar marker, the water, that it had turned to wine, and not he knew from where it was, and the servants, but the servants. And we have a shir, sha'avu, which is that they had drawn, et, grammar marker, hamayim, the water, yada'u, they knew, va'yikra, and he called, that they had drawn, grammar marker, the water, they knew, and he called. Rosh, meaning the head, ha-me-siba, of the banquet, that's who's calling, L2, he-chatan, meaning to the groom. The head of the banquet to the groom. And then we have a yod, which we know is a value of 10. Yomer, and he said, Elev, unto him, that means a rabbi, said to the groom, Kol, every ish, man. Now we use every there instead of all, because this is singular. So it's every man, yiten, he shall give, Barishonah, in the first, or firstly is often how it's translated, but we will leave it at that. Firstly, and he said to him, every man he shall give in the first, et, which is grammar marker, ha-yin, the wine, ha-tov, the good, ve'acharei, and after, shetotam, them drinking, lir vaya, to overload, yiten, he will give. Translation, grammar marker, the wine, the good, and after them drinking to overload, he will give. And then we've got lahem, to them, et grammar marker, ha-garua, which is the inferior, ve'ata, and you, safanta, you have concealed, or you concealed, ha-tov, the good, ad, until, ata, now. To them, grammar marker, the inferior, and you concealed the good until now. And so we come to Yod, which is 10, and Aleph, which is 1, so we're in verse 11. Zot, this, Reshit, meaning the beginning, ha'otot, of the signs. Because this is a construct form of the signs. And that's also a construct of asher that, so the signs that asa, he did, Yeshua. This is the beginning of the signs that he did, Yeshua. Bekana, in Kana, Asher, which is Be'eretz, in the land HaGalil, of the Galilee. Vesham, and there Gila, he revealed. In Cana, which is in the land of the Galil, and there he revealed. Et Gramamaka kevodo, meaning his esteem or glory. Va ya'aminu, and they believed. Vo, in him, told me Dave, his disciples. Grammar marker, his esteem, and they believed in him, his disciples. And then we have a yod value of 10, a veyat value of 2, and we have vehi, and it was a chare ken. After so, often translate afterwards. Va ye red, and he went down. L2 Kefar, which literally means village of Nahum, Nahum the prophet, and it's translated as Capernaum. And it was after so, he went down to Kefar Nahum, translated as Capernaum. Who? He, the Imo, and his mother, the Echayev, and his brothers, the Talmidayev, and his disciples, Velo, and not Arku. They prolonged. They made long, in other words. He and his mother, and his brothers, and his disciples, and not they prolonged sham there, yamim, which is days, rabim, many. Their days many. It means they didn't stay there many days, basically. And we now go to Yod, which is 10, Gimel, which is 13, and we go Vayikrevu, and they drew near. Yemei, meaning the days of, a construct form. Chag, meaning the feast. Ha-Pesach, the feast of the Pesach. Asher, which, or that is, La Yehudim, to the Yehudim. And they drew near the days of the feast of Pesach, which is for the Yehudim. Va'ya'al, and he went up, Yahushua, Yerushalayma, meaning to Jerusalem. And he went up, Yahushua, to Jerusalem. And now we're in Yod 10, Dalet 14. So we know we're in 14 because we've got Dalet, 4, and a Yod. Vayimtza, and he found Va Mikdash, in the temple, or in the holy place, Mokrei, which means merchants of, and it's a construct form. Then we got Vakar, which is cattle, Vatzon, and sheep, Uvne, and sons of, a construct form again. And he found in the temple merchants of cattle and sheep, and sons of Yonah, meaning a dove, sons of doves, we could say. U for te, and changes of, because of the construct ending. Ha kesef, the silver. Yoshvim, sitting, it's a participle. Sham, there, a dove, and changes of the silver sitting there. And then we have a tet, 9, and a vav, 6. And 9 and 6 is 15. So we know we're in 15. Va yikach, and he took chavalim, ropes, ve abtem, and he thickened them. Them is the mem at the end. Le shot, to or into a whip. Ve garesh, and he drove out. Kulam, which is all of them or just them all. And he took ropes and he thickened them into a whip, and he drove out them all. And we're in part B of 15. Min, from ha-mikdash, the temple, the holy place. The et, grammar marker, hatzon, the sheep. The et, grammar marker, and the grammar marker, ha-bakar, the cattle. Ve fazer, and he scattered from the temple, and grammar marker, the sheep, and grammar marker, the cattle, and he scattered. Et grammar marker me'ot, which is the root word for small, but it means in this case the coins of, it's a construct form again, hum chalefim, the money changers. Vaya ha fok, and he overturned. Shul chanotehem, meaning their tables. Grammar marker, the coins of the money changers, and he overturned their tables. And then we have a tet, which we know is 9, and a Zion, which is 7. 9 and 7 is 16. The L and 2, mokre, they are the sellers, which is also like the word that was used for merchants, but the sellers of ha-yonim, the doves. Amar, he said, Hotzi'u, you bring out. LA, these. To the sellers of the doves, he said, you bring out these. And we're in part B of 16. Mi ze, which literally means from this, though it's often translated from here. Ve'al, and not ta'aso, you shall make it, with the grammar marker on the, we've got here the pronoun on the end, et, which is grammar marker, beit, meaning the house, avi, of my father, levet, for a house of mischar, which means trade. From this, and not you shall make it, grammar marker, the house of my father, for a house of trade. And then we have a Yod, 10, Zion, 7. So that's 17 we're in. Va years keru, and they remembered, because the root is to remember. Tal me Dave, his disciples, at ha katuv, literally means the writing, often translated the scripture. Ki, for, kinat, the zeal, and it's a construct form, of, And they remembered his disciples, Grandma Marker, the writing, for the zeal of Beit Ka, your house, akalatni, consumes me. Your house consumes me. And now we come to Yod 10, Chet 18. Vaya'anu, and they answered, HaYehudim, the Jews, Va'yomru, and they said, Elev, unto him, Ma, what? Ot, sign, that's a singular. And they answered the Yehudim, and they said unto him, what sign? Tareinu, you will show us. She ta'aseh, that you shall do. Kazot, like this. You will show us that you shall do, it's the second person, like this. And we have a Yod 10, Tet 9. So we're in 19. Vaya'an, and he answered, Yahushua, Vayomer, and he said, Alehem, unto them, here su, you demolish, which is often termed destroy. And he answered, Yahushua, and he said unto them, you demolish. Et grammar marker, ha hekal, which means the temple. Ha ze this, u vish lo sha, and in 3 yamim days, aki me nu, I shall raise it. The nu on the end is the pronoun, and I shall raise, and we could say up it. Grammar mark of the temple this, and in 3 days I will raise up it. And then we have a kaf, which has a value of 20. Va yom ru, and they said, Ha Yehudim, the Jews, Hine, behold, Arba'im, meaning 40, Vashesh, and 6, Shana, years. And they said, the Jews, behold, 40 and 6 years. Nivna, which is was built. Ha hekal, the temple. Haze this. Ve'ata, and you, bish lo sha, in 3 yamim days, te ki me nu, you shall raise up it. Was built, the temple this, and you in 3 days you shall raise up it. And then we have Kaf 20, Aleph 1, we're in 21. The who, and he, diber, he spoke, al, about, hekal, the temple, geviato, of his body. And he spoke about the hekel, the temple of his body. And we have Kaf 20, Vayet 2, Ve'achareg, and after Kumo, his rising, min from Hamitim, the dead, Zakru, they remembered, Talmidav, his disciples. And after his rising from the dead, they remembered his disciples. And we're in 22b. Key that zot, that for this or that this, Amar, he said, lachem, to them, vaya'aminu, and they believed, vakatuv, in the writing, meaning the scriptures. For this he said to them, and they believed in the writing, the scriptures. Vadavar, and in the word, asher, that, diber, he spoke, Yeshua, and in the word that he spoke, Yeshua. Now we have a calf, 20, Gimel 3. We're in 23. Vehi, and it was, Biyoto, in his being, V'Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, Bechag, in the feast, Ha-Pesach, of the Passover. And it was, in his being in Jerusalem, in the feast of the Pesach. Vaya'aminu, and they believed. Rabim, many. Bishmo, in his name. Ki, for. Ra'u, they saw. Ha'otot, the signs. And they believed many in his name, for they saw the signs. Asher, that, asa, he did. That he did. And then we have a calf and a dalet. That's 20 and 4. We're in verse 24. Vehu, and he, Yeshua, lo not, he'emin, he did believe, lahem, to them. And he, Yeshua, not, he did believe to them. Oh, which is regarding or about Asher, that, Yada, he knew, et kulam, which is all them all or all of them. About that, he knew, grammar marker, them all. And then we have Kaf, 20, and Hey, 5. So in 25, velo, and not, hits, tarek, which he did need, le edut, to testify, that's the construct form, ish, a man, al, about, ha-adam, the man. And not, he didn't need to testify, a man about the man. Ki, for, who, he, yada, he knew. Ma, we could say what, bekerev, so bekerev, in the midst or in the interior, ha-adam, and we could say of the man. For he knew what in the interior of the man. So what was within each man. And so finally we come to our vowel marking. And just to go through the vowels again, we have a kamatz, which is like got a longer A sound, a patak, a bit shorter A sound, zere, which is a longer E sound, so we have zere. Then we have segol, a shorter E, shava, which breaks up the word into its syllables. Then we have a cholam, which is the O sound, cho. And then we have kataf, kamatz, which again is a combination of Shava and followed by Kamat, so it's a longer A. And then we have Kataf Patak, a short A after the Shava. Then we have Chirik, which is like the I sound. Kataf Segol, which is a Segol after the Shava. Then we have a Kibbutz, so it's Kubutz, so it's got that little bit longer oo sound. And then we have Shuruk, which sounds shorter. And finally, we come to the values of the letters. Again, I've repeated the resources, which I hope you are using. And so let us go through some of the vowels. And as we can see, we have a Zade, which has a value of 90, Pei 80, Ayin 70, Samek 60, Nun 50, Mem 40, Lamed 30, Kaf 20, Yod 10, Tet 9, Chet 8, Zion 7. So we will end there and say Shavua Tov. Thank you for joining us. We wish you a blessed week, and may these lessons be in honor of Yeshua, our Messiah. Amen.